We're here in New Milford at the home of Jill Rosalimsky, who has a beautiful resin art studio.
Hi, welcome.
Hi Jill, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Thanks you for opening up your home studio / workshop / business.
My pleasure.
Tell us about it.
So back in July, I started to do what I like to do over the summer, is gardening and crafting. And I saw on Facebook somebody that was working with flowers and embedding them in a resin block, and I love flowers. So I said, oh, this is interesting, and I looked at it, watched it, and before I knew it, I started to create with the resin by watching others. I had no way of knowing how to create resin products before, and I watched other people, and I continued to do so, because that's how I learn. And some of my friends started to say, what are you doing? As I would post, oh, look at this, look at. And I said, oh, I'm creating this. Look at this resin, it's really pretty. And they said, are you selling this stuff? And I'd say, no, not that I was planning on. And long story short, before I knew it, some of them were saying to me, you really should sell them. And a very close friend of mine said, I can get you into some of the boutiques. Why don't you try that? And to my surprise, I had 4 Hanukkah boutiques. I really like working with people, custom orders, and one of my favorite things is workshops. I've been doing a couple of workshops. I did a workshop at Noam, and some here in my home. Families have come, individuals have come, and I set up the kitchen. I'm a teacher, and I like to teach, and that's also part of what I do when I'm on Instagram. Is I do a lot of tutorials where I like to show people how I do what I do, and beginners and intermediates and even advanced. One person actually just told me today from TikTok, you gave me the push. I had the product in my house, and I was scared to use it, and by watching you, that made my day.
So beautiful, wow. Let's see a project. Let's see, I think, what's behind you?
So at the Romer boutique, one of the women that were walking by with her mother-in-law actually saw a floral decor, a resin tray that I had on display, and she said, can you do something with my bridal flowers? And I said, I can. What do you have in mind? She said, oh, I'm gonna go get them. And she hadn't dried them the way that normally you would dry fresh flowers. If you get fresh flowers and you dry them immediately, you can actually embed them and they would look fresh like this. But since these are already dried, there's a different process. So what I've been doing is I've been plucking off the buds that I think will be really beautiful, and she wants it in the resin tray. And each one will get sprayed. This is the group of flowers that I started. I take it outside, and I couldn't do it yesterday because it was raining, and they get sprayed with a special spray that will protect it in the resin. I can't put it directly in the resin without doing that. They won't survive. And then once I have the buds and the leaves and the baby's breath that I can use into the tray, I'm going to lay it out for her and show her, do you like this design, do you like that design? And hopefully she's going to love it. I have a very good friend that has a Cricut. She'll make logos, dates, so if the person wants their initials and the wedding date on it, so that I source that out, and that can also go on the tray. So that makes it really special. These are dry flowers in the resin block. These flowers are already pressed. I receive these flowers. I buy these flowers. They're already pressed, ready to go into the resin. So yes, it's a process. You have to do it in layers, and when it comes out of the mold, you have to sand it, and then sometimes recoat it again with another layer, so you get that really beautiful shine. But these are different than these flowers. Mm-hmm. This is another product with flowers that I made, these coasters. And each coaster, this one I decided to put white on the back. This is the Jesmonite I was telling you about.
That's I never saw that material before. It feels really, really cool. It feels sort of ceramic.
This has colored shells, colored cracked shells that are embedded in this, and it comes out of a mold. The product is white, but you can color it with any type of pigment, and it's basically a powder in a water, and in a half hour you demold it. And these are the different vases that I've made with the Jesmonite.
And you're making new stuff every single day?
All the time, all the time. I love trying new things, experimenting with different colors, and whether it be mica powders or pigment paste or products. Let's see what this looks like, what that will look like, what people will be responsive to. Yeah, I made these for Pesach and these 2 Seder plates.
Oh wow, that's so nice. I like the contrast, the blue on top and the green on the bottom.
Well, this was inspired by the Yamsuf. The beach. That's why I made it the beach.
Beach on the bottom.
Exactly. Yeah.
So this was a kitchen. It still is a functioning kitchen, I think, correct? Let's...
It is.
Yeah.
Right now, half of my island is being taken over by the resin. Sometimes the entire island is taken over by the resin. It depends on what I'm doing. It depends on if I have a workshop here or not.
Okay, what are we looking at here? So I'm looking at, what are we seeing here?
So I'm working on a few different projects here. This was a tea light. Somebody had seen my gold and silver fleck tea lights at the boutique, but they wanted a floral one.
Mm-hmm.
So I put these flowers, what I do is I find the flowers, I separate the flowers, they come in packages like this. I picked out the colors she wanted, purples and pinks, so I open these packages, I pick out the ones I like, and I separate them, and then I use a very pointy tweezer, and with the mold, you take the flowers like this, you pick up the flower, the one flower that you want, and then the mold is like this, place it in the mold. And then sometimes you have to press it down, and sometimes you have to cut it. Sometimes I have to cut it, so like this flower over here I had to cut because I didn't want it to stick out. And it's very delicate. Flowers are very delicate. They sometimes can break inside. They don't stay where you put them.
Right.
You have to wait for the resin to harden a little bit. You have to really experiment with the consistency of the resin so that it's not too liquidy and it's not too thick, and so that's when you get that right sweet spot, place the flowers in.
So a lot of trial and error also.
Correct. So this is one product that I'm working on. I was working on just experimenting because that's part of my hobby, is experimenting. This is going to be a coaster, and these are alcohol inks. They come in different colors, and you put them into the mold, and then you put the resin on top and you watch it. I have a video of it, and you watch the resin and the spread, yes, and how the colors will. You never know how it's going to come out. Not till I demold it, which I could do right now if you want me to.
How long does it take? Oh, demolding?
24 hours, yeah, I did it last night.
It takes about 24 hours. We're watching it demolding. Okay, I've never seen this before in my life, not even on Facebook. It looks gorgeous. Are you happy with it?
So it's very pretty. It's a little bit like, I knew this was going to be an experiment, and I think I might try some other, I like the white. I would like next time to put more white.
I was going to say, maybe you want a little more color, more contrast.
Right, okay. Yeah. But that's part of the experimenting process, and that's why I love what I do, is I get a chance to play around and experiment, and then see what I like and see what options there are for other products.
Okay, that's flexible, that's bendable. I thought
that's because it's not quite 24 hours. I did this yesterday evening.
Okay, but if it was 24 hours, it would
be harder. It would be much harder. Okay. It would be much harder. Yeah.
Interesting.
It would be hard like this.
Okay. And what am I looking at? That's glass inside, right?
This is colored glass. This is colored chuppah glass inside a picture frame. I'm working on how to back it because the mold does not come with a backing. So I'm working on a magnetic backing.
So this is the glass that was broken at this couple's chuppah. They kept the glass. I actually didn't even know that was a thing until I walked in here. So that you keep the glass and the bouquet. So is it a newer thing? Is it a more trendy thing? Or
No, it's been around for a while. People like to keep it for a memory. Some of these pieces of glass were too big, so they actually get cut. I'll show you over here. But this is a part of a glass that a woman gave me from the boutique.
Wow.
And these are my cutters. And I have to wear, obviously, my goggles and gloves. Put these on. Put these on. I use these a lot. And there's a little light there. Going on, yeah.
Is that magnified? It also
yes.
Okay.
These come with all different
lenses. Okay.
Lenses.
It's not just protective. It's also.
It's for both, right? Exactly. And I work with a lot of times in very small spaces. I need the magnifying glasses, so I would put these on. I put my gloves on. These are not the gloves that I use for resin. For resin, I use the nitrite gloves. Actually, 3 pair I wear at a time.
To protect yourself.
Right.
Because glass can cut through even those.
Well, not necessarily for glass when I work with the resin because of the chemicals. I wear a mask. I have in the room. I have an air purifier in the room, and I wear a double N95s and triple gloves.
Is that it smells bad, or
it's because they say that the resin has
fumes.
Yeah. So if I'm working and I get resin on the glove, okay, now I can't touch anything. Now I can't touch my phone. I can't touch I can't pick up anything because there's resin on here, for example. So then I'll just go, okay, move on. And then I'll work again, and then if my hands get dirty, I'll say, okay, I still have the chance to. And it works, not only for protection for my hands, but also to keep me working so that I can not get everything full of resin and it won't stop me. So like something like this, I would take this, and I would take this piece of glass in the box, and I would see, is this going to be small enough? No, it's not small enough for what I want.
So you need to cut it
so I cut it again. Right on there. So I use the tall cups, and I use this for mixing. So I use this for mixing, or sometimes I'll use a wooden stick to mix the resin like this. And the resin is 2 parts. It's a hardener. This is the product that I like the best.
And those are always mixed.
Yes, always mixed. Part B, part A, and you put it into the cup. Sometimes I warm it up in some warm water, and you have to mix it very, very slowly in the cup. And it also has to be measured exactly. That's why these cups come with measurements. Exactly half A and half B. So if this is off, your product's going to be off.
I actually never saw a plastic cup with measurements.
Right, so I put it on the counter, and then I pour one, and sometimes I'll even pour in a second cup and make sure that they're exact, and then pour them into a third cup. Because a lot of the products need sanding. Not a small product like this, I can use this type of sander. And I can sand around the edges like this to get it to be smooth. But if I'm working with a big product, I'll need a bigger sander.
Like you said before, that people think it comes out of a mold looking great. That's not the case.
Because it takes a lot of extra work. This particular, I'll just give you an example, this particular tea light. So once the flowers were embedded and the resin was poured in, and then more flowers and more resin, it goes by a few layers. And once I demolded it, so there was a flower that was sticking out of here. So I took my rocket rotary and I did sand it, but then it has like a rough, it's not smooth and shiny. So this particular product, what I did was I put something called a liquid latex. Some people use actually Elmer's glue. I use this liquid latex. Some people use tape. I've tried them all, and I do experimentations and I do videos on them also to see which one is the better one. And then, so I needed to protect the rest. I only needed to put more resin on the back to get this looking really beautiful and shiny. So I put that liquid latex on the side, and now that it's dried,
comes right off. That's so cool.
It comes right off. And again, I'll make a video of it later and show people that watch how you take it off. And this side is not, no resin dripped over here. No resin dripped over here because I have the liquid latex protecting it. I also have some of my keychains that I unpacked. I have personalized keychains that I attach with a resin letter, depending on your initial. Okay, so these are individual resin letters. I'm just pulling out the M's.
For me, obviously. Okay, I'll take that.
And in each packet, there are different colors, both for boys and for girls. Glittery, sparkly, blues, greens. This is a very cool one. This is a totally different mold. So I like to experiment with different types of, to have like block letters and script letters. And this was a different mold, this is made in a 2 process. First the outer layer and then the letter. So what happens is once a woman, a man, or child, a boy comes to a boutique and they see my stand with my keychains, so they'll look around, they'll see the one that they want, and they'll pick one that matches. So then it attaches to the letter like that, and it becomes their personalized keychain.
Tell us a little about your social media presence.
I'm on Instagram at the Jill Stacey Collection, the Jill Stacey Collection, it's all one word. And I'm also on Facebook, and I'm also on TikTok.
Thank you for opening your home and workshop and studio and office and business.
Thank you.
And really just, it's so nice to see. It's especially for a business that's not even a year old. So impressive. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm really enjoying it, and I really, really appreciate you being here and allowing me to share it with you.